Okay, this is a message for my future kids and also young adults and adults looking to do better in their life. At bare minimum, you're trying to do better than your parents did for you, and not because they necessarily did bad with you, but because there's things you see that you want to do better than where you came from and break generational curses. So why did I say I'm sorry in advance? Well, that message is for not only my future kids, but also young adults out there, because I'm not going to be perfect. The advice I'm going to give, the things I'm going to say, the brand I'm going to build is not going to be a brand based on the fact that I'm perfect, but a brand based on the fact that I have learned lessons and I'm trying to communicate those and live intentionally so that my words and my actions match up and don't contradict each other. So I'm sorry in advance for if my future kids are watching this, which hopefully they are. I'm sorry in advance for not being a perfect father, because those don't exist. You know, I've started to realize that we all come from imperfect places, and we're trying to sometimes seek perfection when we come from imperfection. And that's just not how life is going to go. Everything that I've done so far and seen others do so far is just their attempt to do something better than what they came from or better than what they see currently around. They're trying to achieve and create something for themselves in selfish ways and some unselfish ways as well. So that's the I'm sorry in advance. But first point we got to get to, I'm going to go ahead and write that down really quick for you guys, because we all want to break generational curses, do better, and actually get to like the foundational things that we need to know in order to be successful. So one of the foundational things that everyone needs to understand is that life is a gift. And just like any gift, everyone as adults and as kids, they act as children when they receive them. When you get gifts as a kid, you have those kids that are either really grateful and taught to grow up and be grateful of anything that they get because nothing is promised. Or you have those kids who are entitled and then they have they're mad because they got something that they didn't want, like socks or something like that under the Christmas tree or whatever. Life is just like getting a gift on Christmas morning. You can either choose to be appreciative of what you got and make the most of it, or you can go ahead and throw it away and not realize what you have until it's too late and you're wishing that you had what you were blessed with. That's how life is. So ultimately, that first mindset shift that you can have to actually make sure that you're not playing victim, but you're always grateful is very important. Just like starting out with something that seems small, you may not understand why you have to start there and why there's struggle involved, but there's struggle involved in all of life. You have to deal with the fact that you start with small things, and once you've proven that you can handle those, things multiply. Just like in the Bible, because everything I'm talking about comes from the Bible, the basic instructions before leaving earth. All of that is foundational knowledge. But the thing is, people don't understand it. Like, they think that you're going to be able to just get a gift and start big and just maintain it because you're just this amazing smart person and you're smarter than everybody. That's just not how it goes. Just like in school, they teach you theory. They can look at things that already happened and explain them, but humans, as they move throughout life, for the most part, they're testing things out, trying them, and then in the hindsight, they can see 20/20 vision. They realize everything that they were doing got them the result. But in the time that you're doing it, a lot of times things do not seem like they're going to work. You're just testing and figuring it out. So bringing it back to the Bible story, starting out with something small and then multiplying it, you have three people. I believe it was in a parable that Jesus was talking about. You had three people that God blessed, and I think he gave, let's just say you have three people here. I'll just draw them as stick figures, right? You have three people. And God says, hey, I'm going to go ahead and bless all three people. He gives one person, I'm going to represent the gifts as dots. He gives one person 10 gifts. He gives one person 5. And then he gives this guy over here 1. And in the parable, he talks about how the person he gave 10 gifts went out and he multiplied it. He created more with the blessings that he was bestowed upon them. Secondly, he gave the second person 5 gifts, I believe, or some number like that. And the second person actually multiplied that as well. But then you have the last person. The last person had that one gift and he held on to it so tight. He didn't want to lose it. He didn't use the blessings and the gifts that he was given. And he came back and it was taken away from him and he was shamed for that. Because you cannot be trusted to handle the little things. Why do you expect for things to be multiplied for you? Because you're scared and you're not willing to use the blessings you were given, which the blessing is this life. The blessing is for you to go out there and do better than the people before you did, whether that's your parents, whether that's the world and the problems you see. This imperfect world is for you to shape. So while I'm talking to my future kids, I'm also talking to young adults out there that don't think that they can make change because they see all these problems and things that are messed up. You can make the change. You are the change that you want to see. Like one of my friends will say, his brand, you are the difference. You are the difference in the world. The things that need to be changed can't come from you. You just have to believe and take that risk. Because no one thinks they got to figure it out when they're doing it the first time. It's just in hindsight where all things are 2020, right? You can look back and say, oh, that worked out. That's why you guys need to realize life is a gift. Treat it that way. So secondly, we're going to talk about something that I know for a fact people are lacking in. And so I'm going to go ahead because the first thing was really that life is the gift. But I really want to hit on your job being to move the needle, right? So we all are trying to do better than what we think the people before us did. We don't want to be imperfect with the world, and we want to improve. We want to make more money. We want time freedom. We want all these different things that we believe will set us free to be able to enjoy life, right? But why is it our responsibility to move things forward? And how can we move things forward actually? Because people think moving things forward means money. That's the crazy part. People think that moving things forward means they have to make more money than their parents or they have to do this and that. That is not true whatsoever. This world is a mental, spiritual game more than it is a material game that we think it is, because we have governments and societies that say things are valuable and put things on TV so you think that they mean something, but in reality, the things that mean the most are the things that you cannot pay for. When you're young, you're the richest you'll ever be. You have your parents around a lot of the times. You have your grandparents around still. You might have, siblings that you are in the house with and you're not moved out and you guys aren't separated because you have these families you need to take care of. Pushing things forward doesn't bring all of that back, because the one thing that you'll never get back is that time. Pushing things forward is more about changing three things. And I'm going to talk about that really quick. You're going to first change the mindset, because the mindset is the foundation. The mindset is the foundation for anything that you do. And it's a spiritual thing too. I think of mindset as compromising your philosophy, the way you think, and the things that you know. And I believe the Bible is the basic instruction before leaving earth. So that's my philosophy. At least they talk about it as a religious philosophy. If you take a philosophy course, sometimes they'll refer to religion as a philosophy, but I believe God is real. That's one thing that I'll make very clear. And without the proper mindset to be in alignment with how the world actually works, you will work against yourself. Imagine thinking that you're supposed to, fry an apple before eating it. Won't it taste weird? Or thinking that you should, boil pasta and let it sit overnight. Something you don't have to do, but you can do. There's a problem when you look at the game of life and you say, you don't know the rules and you don't have any frameworks to actually look at life through that are more correct than others. Because infinite wisdom is ultimately what the Bible teaches. It teaches the type of wisdom that over the long run will maintain its ability to be true. Meaning that if these actions happen long enough over a span of time, they will lead to destruction. That's why when Jesus talks about how there's only two commandments that you have to live by that are above all, that all commandments fall under, which was love God first with all your heart and treat thy neighbor as you would like thyself to be treated. Those are the two laws that everything fall under. And all the things that go wrong in the world is because those things are not followed. But first you have the mindset. And getting away from the mindset, you have habits. So you have the mindset, right? The mindset is the first thing. But you have the habits that stem from the mindset. For example, If you grow up in a household where you see a lot of BS going on, you have people that argue in front of you all the time, parents, and not to say that's a bad thing, but there is an excessive amount of arguing that you can do in front of your kids that create an unstable environment in a place where they don't feel safe. But when you grow up with that, you may start to think that certain things are normal that should not be normalized. The way that you behave and interact with the children around you are different as well when you learn from parents that function in dysfunction. People that function in dysfunction don't set a good example for how you should interact with people. So breaking out of the mindset isn't necessary, because if you don't break out of the mindset that you thought was okay earlier on, in that little head of yours, I don't know how to draw a brain, but you know, and maybe it's the brain stem, in that little head of yours, if you don't break out of that mindset, then it's going to reflect over here when you start to go ahead and interact with people in your habits, the habits you have when you communicate with people. How do you handle relationships when you get older? These things are stemming from how we learn to interact with people based on our experiences. And not just our parents either. It could be at school, how we were taught to interact with the kids around us and things like that. But ultimately, your mindset flows into your habits. That's why we address mindset first. You have to be, and then you have to do, and then you have. And mindset is the foundation, and then habits lead to the things that we repeatedly do. So if I was to create something to represent that, I would just create like a circle with an arrow, and then do another arrow, and then do another arrow. Habits, things that we repeatedly do. And then what's the last thing then? If it's mindset and habits, what are the things that the framework that matters the most that helps you push things forward? You change your mindset and how you think and instill strong spiritual philosophy, knowledge, how you think, instill those strong values into your kids. That's how you can push things forward, because that's the foundation of everything. I don't know anybody who has been able to maintain something over a long time within the family and keep things to be strong as a family unit without the strong spiritual and the mindset connection. And then you have the habits that come after that. But then the most important thing, once you have the mindset and the habits, is simply just who you connect with, you know, your connections. Because if you understand this world, just because the world may be messed up doesn't mean that you don't have to get things done. And the quickest way to get things done is to connect with people who've done the things you've already done in ways that align with your philosophy and your moral values. Because a lot of people will say, oh, I'll do what's required. Well, at the end of the day, things that can be required of you can also be wrong. Things that people can tell you to do can also be scammy and lies, and it can go against your value system. So what would be the point in doing all these things when you know ultimately you have to answer to your God? And if your God is your conscious or whatever you may think, if you're spiritual and you don't believe in God, that's fine. I don't hate you, and I actually pray for everyone, so it's not like going against you. I think truly, no matter what you believe, if you believe something is the right thing and you pray for me to your God on my behalf, thinking that, you know, I may be wrong, then I know that you have good intention towards me. And that's what I pray for everyone. I pray forgiveness for everyone on top of myself. But understand that connections can lead you astray. So we have to focus on those connections too, because you can learn certain things from people who aren't perfect people. No one's perfect. So you're going to learn things from your family that you're going to keep passing on down in the generations. And then you're going to learn things from your family that you're going to say, no, that stops here with me. That'll never happen to me again. But ultimately, you have to make sure you understand the power of connections, because the person you pick to marry, the person you pick to have kids with, the person you connect with, your day one best friend, all of these things are going to influence you into who you become. They say that you're the average of the 5 people you keep around you the most. But you have to intentionally be keeping people around you so that you can achieve the goals that you set out to achieve. Doesn't mean cut off people that don't seem to be helping you. You can be fruitful and help people just like you would like to be helped. If you were in a less fortunate situation, you would like to be helped. So if I'm supposed to be treating people how I would like to be treated, then I'm going to treat people in a way that I would like to be helped if I was not in a fortunate circumstance or having a certain mindset in which I'm able to achieve to high levels as well. So we want to make sure that ultimately we connect with good people as well. So let me get into the next thing, because we're really going to finish this off. I know You know, if my kids are watching this and they older, they probably think that I'm yapping right now. And then the young adults that's watching this that are gonna get this value are like, oh man, this dude low-key spitting. You know, he's spitting a little bit. But ultimately, we have one more important thing that I'm gonna get to, which is the last thing, that the philosophy side of things that you need to understand. This is the number one mindset issue that will kill most people's chances of success in life. So let's say life is a graft, right? Life is a graft. And in life, there's risk with everything that you do. Let's just keep it up here, because my black marker, oh, there we go. So let's just say life is a graft, right? And over here on this side, you have risk. And then over here, you have, you know, how long you've been alive, so lifespan. So you have risk and you have lifespan. Well, as you go throughout life, you're gonna have to be exposed to risk. You know, economies are gonna go up and down, money is gonna be made, people are gonna lose jobs, people are gonna lose money, lose houses, go in debt, be homeless. All these things are gonna happen. And life is a risky thing. So if the longer you live life, the most guaranteed you are to be exposed to risk, then there's only one strategy for you to be able to live life in a positive way and not lose everything that you've built. Because let's talk finances for a second. Because finances is the tool that we use to boost the impact we're trying to make on this earth, to take care of our families, to give back to people, to buy time and be able to comfortably live and do what we want to, have time freedom. We need that tool of money. And if it's guaranteed that the longer we live life, the higher chances is that we're going to be exposed to risk, shown by this graft. If the longer we live life here, the more chance we are going to be exposed to risk, then there's only one way that you can responsibly live life, which I'm going to write down here for you guys. And you're going to be surprised, because this sounds simple, but you're going to hear and be surprised that pretty much no one follows this. Nobody follows this, even though life is guaranteed to have risk. So here's the thing. This is evergreen information. No matter what is going on in the world, I don't care if in the future the entire US has collapsed and the new superpower in the world is Zimbabwe or something. I don't care. No matter what, this is evergreen, which is why I'm writing it with a green marker. You have to plan for the worst and hope for the best. This is evergreen information. There is not any point in human history where this will not be the best philosophy to live life. Here's the reality. Most Americans do not have $1,000 saved in 2024. This will only get worse because humans are only focused on short-term satisfaction. The more comfortable we've had to live on Earth by having technology and having governments that protect us and having all these things that humans in the past didn't have, we started to get really comfortable. We started to forget that life is a survival-based game. And in order to survive, you have to be able to plan and weather the risk storms. Some risk you're going to decide to take for a greater return, like with real estate. You leverage debt to get into a property, to collect rental income, to hopefully never lose that property. But some risk comes at you just because you live life. You know, your house might flood and you don't have flood insurance because the insurance salesman sold you a home insurance without flood insurance. And now you have thousands and thousands of dollars worth of damage that you have to deal with because you just lived. You had nothing to control that. You couldn't control that, especially when the insurance salesman didn't try to cover you. He just wanted to get the cheapest insurance rate to you so that you could go ahead and insure the house and not really help you out. And it's partly his fault, partly your fault because you didn't know about flood insurance. There's things that happen in life that you're just exposed to risk because you can't know everything. That's life. So in order to overcome those things, the only philosophy that works, no matter whether you're in the wilderness or you're in a major city or you're in the urban areas and the suburbs, plan for the worst and hope for the best. That is the only philosophy that will work no matter what, whether humans end up on different planets or whatever. This is how you make progress in life without losing everything and having to fall back to ground zero. And it doesn't mean that falling back to ground zero is bad, because whether you're improving your mindset, your habits, or your network and your connections, no matter what, you're still moving forward. You're moving forward in how you think and instilling those good values into your kids. You're instilling the good habits into your kids. You're connecting your kids with people early who, if their family isn't connecting them with smart individuals and people who can help move them forward, then your kids are going to be ahead. Because life is a competitive game. And that's part of my infinite game theory self-improvement framework, which I use when I'm teaching about investing and when I'm teaching about self-improvement and mentoring kids. Life is a game and it's competitive. And if you aren't trying to get the edge on other people, they will take it. Money is not unlimited. No matter what people will tell you, money is not unlimited. You can think abundantly, but money is not unlimited. You have to go out there and get your way in front of money and say, hey, I'm ready. Whoa, pause. I don't even know if that'll be a joke that my kids understand, but I know if you're watching this now, you'll understand this. But you really want to make sure that no matter what, you are going to be receiving value